Australia. The race to crown the next superstar or supergroup is on. The X Factor, the show that makes stars of everyday people like Reese Maston, Leona Lewis, and 5 ordinary guys who are now the hottest property on earth, One Direction.
You just see them and you just want to cry.
Tonight, we take a special look at the power of the global hit-making talent show with an access all areas pass to the British pop supergroup.
Hi, we're One Direction.
We check in on some of X Factor's greatest talent. And almost 12 months on, I catch up with our very own X Factor winner, Reese Maston.
You had a performance sort of shut down.
This is an X Factor Australia exclusive as we celebrate the road to superstardom.
You have the X Factor.
I can hear my heart beating.
G'day Australia, we're One Direction and we're here in London, the home of the X Factor. I'm Liam.
I'm Louis. I'm Niall.
I'm Zane. I'm Harry and we're One Direction and we're with Luke watching a very special episode of the X Factor.
That's right, guys. I'm going to be chatting with One Direction. We've got some questions from you. I've got some questions myself, and it's going to be amazing. Don't miss it.
8 years on, the show created by TV and music mogul Simon Cowell is still making music and TV history, with over 250 #1 hits and 100 million records sold worldwide.
I know the X Factor is the best platform to launch careers. The best example I can give you is One Direction. They will be the best-selling artist ever from X Factor.
Every now and then all the stars align and you find some real magic in a band. One Direction are a phenomenon.
One Direction are the biggest boy band in the world at this minute.
That's what makes you beautiful.
Since appearing on the X Factor, One Direction has had a meteoric rise to superstardom, selling over 11 million records worldwide and have achieved #1 in 27 countries.
No one expected the whole world to go completely crazy for this huge band.
You want a real shot at a career, come on the X Factor.
For One Direction, their shot at superstardom began 2 years ago, when the 5 fellas lined up as soloists with hundreds of thousands of other hopefuls at the open auditions for the 7th series of the X Factor UK. They would try their luck in front of X Factor creator and judge Simon Cowell, recording artist and former Pussycat Doll Nicole Scherzinger, and megastar producer Louis Walsh.
I'll always remember Harry Styles' first audition because he just walked in and he just lit up the stage.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
When I first auditioned for the X Factor, I was 16. I was at school and I was working part-time in a bakery.
What are you doing here today?
I've always wanted to audition, but I've always been too young. I just remember kind of being so intimidated.
And what are you going to sing?
I'll do Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder.
Okay, good luck.
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she lovely, made from love?
I like you, Harry. I'm going to say yes.
And you'll be happy to hear that I'm going to say yes.
When I got through, I remember I was kind of relieved, and I just remember thinking, I just don't want to go to school and say that I didn't get through.
So, Harry earned his spot, followed by 17-year-old Niall.
I think people would absolutely like you.
17-year-old Zane,
My mum had told me I could sing, but I just wanted to go and get an answer from somebody else.
Let me love you.
Yeah.
thank you, 19-year-old Louis,
Oh, it's what you do to me.
You've got 3 yeses.
Thank you so much.
and 17-year-old Liam.
I remember Liam, this is his second time back on the show because he'd been there the year before and he just blew us all away.
Cry me a river.
You've definitely got it. Whatever it is that you've got it.
Success for all 5 boys saw them into the boot camp rounds. But But with over 200 candidates fighting for the very limited places moving forward,
I've messed the words up. Can I start again?
the competition was going to be unbelievably tough.
Being here the last few days has made me realise how much I want to stay, that I really don't want to go home now.
We'd really willed them to do one in that middle stages, but for whatever reason, whether it was song choice, whether it was nerves, I don't know, it just fell apart.
The boys would soon learn that their dreams would be cut short.
That's it, guys. Really, really sorry.
I didn't really expect to get through to the solo artist. I didn't rate myself like that high.
You've got it in your head now that you want to go as far as possible, and it's not just a bit of fun anymore. So that's the most difficult stage to get knocked out, really.
You've gone to all this hard work, and then you're just going to have to go home and tell everyone that you weren't going through. I think that was the main kind of brunt of it.
The worst feeling I've ever felt in my life. Standing there and waiting for your name to be called, and then it's not. Oh, sorry.
That was the moment when it entered my head, only then, that maybe we should put these guys into a group because they were too good to lose.
Zayn, Liam Payne, Harry Styles.
Oh my God.
Guys, follow me this way.
Thank you so much for coming back. We just feel that you're too talented to let go of.
We've decided to put you group.
It was so exciting because the fact that we got put into a group was like this massive twist.
I was just getting ready to go home, and then obviously when we got the second chance, it was cool.
We went backstage and we stood in a circle and we went, right, how are we going to dress? And how naive we were.
But on home visits, they'd have more than their wardrobe to worry about. Performing for their very first time together in front of their mentor.
1 minute we're a solo artist, and the next minute we've been put into a group with guys who we don't even know, and we're performing in front of people like Simon Cowell, so we've got massive pressure.
I looked at them and I thought, yeah, you really look like a proper group. And I'm just sitting there thinking, please be good, please be good.
Nothing's fine, I'm told. You're a little late. I'm already told.
Within about 10 seconds, I got goosebumps. I thought, they're not good, they're fantastic. But I kept a very stony face. Guys, I've gone with my heart. You're through. That was the moment, if I'm being honest with you, where I thought we've got a real shot here.
Their talent secured them a spot on the X Factor live stage. One Direction now performing for a TV audience in the tens of millions each week.
The first live show was the most nerve-wracking before we went out. And then it turned into, instead of us getting really nervous, we just loved being on stage. Every time we were on, we loved it, and every time that we came off, we'd be absolutely ecstatic from being on.
I landed into the live shows and I'm like, who are all these people? Who are these guys? They've just got such good energy.
That was when I ruled the world.
The band is gelling. Even though Simon's going to claim he put this band together, it was my idea originally, Simon. It was. No, it was my idea.
And while some on the panel argued for the credit, it was obvious our judges were hooked on One Direction.
I have to say that you're 5 heartthrobs.
I can't even cope with how cute you are, seriously. Wow, this is the new big boy band, and I think that'll come in time.
Well, that time has just come.
One Direction wouldn't be here today without the X Factor. They were formed on the X Factor. I'm really excited about X Factor this year. The fact that we're going to put together a supergroup is incredible.
From the minute they formed, there were girls lining up outside that studio going nuts.
For us to walk out and see all these girls at the gate was kind of scary because obviously we'd never experienced anything like that. fun.
A couple of months ago, we could just, obviously all of us walk into a shop without any hassle, whereas now, we walk into a shop and get absolutely mocked by screaming girls, which is, well, that's only a bit than average, isn't it? Oh my God.
We went back home and we went to each of our hometowns, which is really near the final.
And you know what?
That's the moment where you think, this is actually getting a little bit serious now.
Sometimes it just goes right. And with One Direction it did. And suddenly they birthed a monster.
I love seeing. What? Is it you? Are you the biggest fan? Yeah.
That was just a small taste of what our lives could be like. We want to go and win because we don't want that life to stop.
When we got to the final, we were like, we want to win this.
If you get that far in the competition, you'd want to win.
The X Factor has access to the biggest stars in the world. So, in the finals and in front of almost 20 million viewers, who did Simon call on?
Incredible! Robbie Williams!
Coming here at the start of their journey, knowing exactly what they're thinking and exactly what they're feeling, and being part of it feels really good.
One Direction and Rebecca. One of you is out of the competition. The second act, still in the final, is... Rebecca.
We got kicked out and we came third. At the time, we were massively disappointed.
We wanted to win so much.
All I can say is, this is just the beginning for these boys.
The next day, Simon called us into the Sony offices and we signed a contract. So that was crazy.
I am proud when I see the success they've done, and I think what makes me most proud is that I couldn't wish for a better ambassador for the show.
Even though they didn't win, there's no denying One Direction's star quality. Nor the power of the X Factor to find or create music superstars or supergroups.
I mean, there's no other show in the world like X Factor. You know, we have the ability to create a supergroup, and we have amazing singers, and they could be huge.
It's possible. You can create something extraordinary that really can take over the world. So, I mean, I'm up for that.
Coming up, my exclusive chat with One Direction in London. Now, guys, I have heard some rumours. We relive the hysteria when the boys touched down in Australia.
You see them and you just want to cry.
And next, from schoolboy to mobs of screaming fans. That brings a city to a standstill.
You had a performance sort of shut down.
It was just chaos. It was easily the most insane moment I've had ever.
The wait is finally over. The hot new single by One Direction, Live While We're Young, is out tomorrow. And their highly anticipated second album, Take Me Home, is released November 9.
We're celebrating the road to superstardom by looking at the X Factor creation that is now a global phenomenon.
Life has completely changed since the X Factor, obviously, for the better. It's such an amazing experience and platform because who gets those opportunities?
Like before, you didn't really look past the weekend, but now, you know, we've just done diaries for 2014 and 15.
X Factor isn't about just making a star for this particular country. It's about making an international star. You know, One Direction have managed to crack everywhere.
For Zayn, Harry, Liam, Niall and Louis, the X Factor instantly turned their lives from ordinary to extraordinary, now owning the title of the world's biggest boy band.
They are everywhere. They're hopping from America to Europe to Asia to Australia. They're riding a train that is going at 200 mile an hour right now. It's not going to stop.
And like One Direction, Reese Maston! Our very own Reese Maston went from teenage schoolboy to overnight last day on Earth. Your fan questions soon.
I go for a pint with Ronan Keating.
You'd go for a beer with Ronan Keating.
Sorry, Mum, I'm in the pub. I know it's the last day on Earth.
Plus, we check in with the cheeky ex-concreter, Johnny Ruffo.
My life has changed 360 degrees. I was getting up at 5 in the morning doing concreting. Now I'm touring with some of the biggest acts in the world.
Hello. We are One Direction.
The judges were very clever in the way they put them together.
Liam is the smart one.
They put together some very interesting characters in that band.
Harry is the flirt.
And that's why One Direction has worked.
Zayn is vain.
You know, they're all individual characters.
Niall is the funny one.
Lou is the leader.
They're actually really talented and they're smart.
I can play the triangle.
And they're not puppets.
Sorry, lads.
They respect their fans. They listen to their fans.
We've been going through a few of your questions. If you didn't audition for the X Factor, what would you be doing career-wise right now?
I'd be at college studying and working in bakery. I was going to be going to uni to do sound engineering. I was going to go to uni to do an English degree and then become a teacher.
Building aeroplanes. I mean, that's why the show's called The X Factor, because you want to find people who've got the X Factor. And it means all those things combined together.
19-year-old Alexandra Burke was a hard-working singer, gigging weekends in local clubs, before being crowned winner of the British X Factor in 2008.
I used to watch the show every year with my family. I was watching the final one year with my mum, and I just remember saying I'd love to just have a go at it.
People that are coming out the X Factor, just ridiculous, like talent. So to even be in the category as somebody that's won a show like that is phenomenal.
Everything that's happened since winning the X Factor has been a complete dream. It's just been the biggest roller coaster I've ever been on.
Just go for it, because there's always that little chance that you get through, and you know, if you do get through, it's going to be massive for you.
Alexandra's debut album produced 4 #1 singles across the UK and earned her 3 Brit Award nominations.
It's undeniable that the X Factor creates stars. It's, you know, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, Leona Lewis.
This was like a real-life fairy tale. Here was a sweet young girl who dreamt about being a star when she was younger. When she got a bit older, she tried to get into the music business and failed. Took a job as a receptionist, never complained, still had the dream, had one more attempt, which was to enter the X Factor, and she won it.
Leona was an incredible singer. I was there the night she won X Factor. She deserved to win. She was the best thing on the show.
People like Alexandra Burke, Leona Lewis that have come out the show, they're extraordinary. I think that's amazing that a show can take someone from being such a normal space of life to, you know, out there.
Leona Lewis, who we've met a couple of times. Liam has a bit of a crush on her, to be honest. He's got a phenomenal voice.
Leona's smash hit single Bleeding Love reached #1 in over 30 countries, including Australia. Her debut album Spirit peaked at #1 on the Australian music charts. Leona's success story began in 2006, when as a 21-year-old, she turned up to audition for the UK talent show.
Let your troubles, the rainbow.
You got the whole package, I think.
It was absolutely fantastic. I remember saying to myself that year, if I can't find an international star out of this show, maybe it's time to give up. So she had a massive turning point on my career.
Leona delivered every night on the live show. Every night was a big, powerful performance, and sometimes very, very emotional.
You are absolutely The best contestant I have ever had.
If ever there's a contestant that's going to be a huge superstar, it's you, Leona.
Leona would impress the judges time and again and sing her way straight to the final.
8 million people have voted. The winner of the X Factor 2006 is Leona!
I was like, oh, was it really me? My eyes started getting all cloudy because I was starting to cry. I just looked over at my family, they were all hugging each other. It was the moment when all of my dreams had come true.
After winning the X Factor, Leona would score the record deal she'd always longed for, and she's never looked back. Today, Leona Lewis is a multi-platinum selling artist and 3-time Grammy Award nominee, already selling over 20 million records worldwide. Up next, One Directioners take over Brekkie Central.
Is this going to be bigger than Beaver Fever?
And next, words of warning from X Factor's creator.
I spoke to Guy, Ronan, Nat and Mel and said, there's somebody in Australia right now who has the ability to be a star all over the world. Simple.
It's the show that has the power to propel everyday people into superstardom. But just what makes the X Factor like no other?
The secret to the success of the X Factor is the fact that these contestants are mentored.
We get to guide our contestants to have a great career from the beginning and turn them into a superstar. It takes a lot of courage to come up here and do it, all right?
They're getting advice from artists like myself and from Ronan and Mel B and Nat. Not to mention some of the biggest artists in the world.
Welcome the one and only Usher.
Alicia Keys.
Please welcome One Direction.
You excited? Nervous?
Yeah.
Are you nervous? I'm just really nervous. I know exactly how it feels.
For One Direction and Leona Lewis,
You've made the final four, sweetheart.
working so closely with their mentor, Simon Cowell,
That is brilliant.
has been key to their success.
This was a partnership. It was only going to work if we listened to each other. It wasn't about me making them do things they were uncomfortable with. They listened to me, and more importantly, I listened to them.
Simon's actually a really good mentor. He's still a great mentor now. He actually popped into the studio the other week, which is a bit of a surprise, when we were recording the new album. And you still get that same sort of nervous feeling like when we were playing the stuff to him that we've been singing, just hoping that he'd like it sort of thing. So nothing's changed really, I suppose.
I won't let you down.
No, I know you won't.
I won't.
I know you won't. I'm really happy.
You need people who are going to give you positive criticism and really help you, and he definitely did that, and still to this day I work with him and he's a great mentor.
And here in Australia, the opportunity to be guided by music industry heavyweights is no different.
I want you to get up on that stage and rock your heart out.
With our mentors throwing themselves at the job of guiding this year's extraordinary talent.
I'm the kind of mentor that eats, breathes and sleeps X Factor. That's a little bit shaky vocally. I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and go, oh my God, I need to change the song. Or, oh my God, hopefully they're getting vocal rest. I kind of live for it. I get thoroughly immersed in it and I love that.
I was lucky enough to be given an opportunity to join a boy band. And I'm happy to be able to pass that right on, you know, to pass it on to somebody else and give them that chance. I want to see camaraderie, your bands, your groups, you're a team, you work together. You're not individuals.
This is about not only discovering a superstar, but also propelling them and preparing them to the point where they can go on and have a career.
That's it. Being able to have Guy Sebastian mentor me every step of the way and help me through absolutely everything was incredible. I've made a friend in him for life, so you know, I'll never forget that.
In 20 years, I'm hoping to look back and think, Guy taught me this. I'm still learning from Guy, which is awesome. I definitely couldn't have done it without Guy. He was 100% so committed to what we were doing.
So, with so much at stake as we make our way through the finals, you can be sure that it will take a special combination to make it all the way to the very end.
I spoke to Guy, Ronan, Nat and Mel and basically said, in my gut, I can feel that there's somebody in Australia right now who has the ability to be a star all over the world. Simple.
Can you win the X Factor? I plan on being a really bloody good mentor and making sure that my act gets it and knows what they're working with, knows their limits and what they've got to offer. I've made my decision.
When I'm mentoring my contestants, I try and make them realise that what they're doing is extremely special.
With this year's talent standing on the edge of superstardom, we're taking a look at the hit-making show and its impact in creating music superstars around the world. But just like Ireland's famed twin pop duo Jedward,
Alright, stop! Collaborate and listen. Jedward's back with a brand new invention.
you don't need to walk away with the X Factor's top prize to get noticed.
You don't have to win the X Factor to be a successful artist. To get into the show is a massive deal, and what that can do for your career is unbelievable.
When we came third, we were obviously disappointed because we wanted to win. Since the show's gone past, we just don't regret a thing.
And Australia's most loved ex-concreter knows this firsthand. Yes, Perth's Johnny Ruffo is making the most of every opportunity since finishing
X Factor. You know, we both finished third, which was, you know, kind of ironic that we were touring together.
It was nice to have Johnny supporting on the show. It was great, and we just hope you had a great time.
Unfortunately, there was not room for a sixth member, so I'm going to be stuck with my solo career.
So while Johnny makes his mark here in Australia, around the world, X Factor runners-up and finalists like Cher Lloyd and Rebecca Ferguson are conquering the global music industry.
Of course, you don't have to win. Just being a part of a show like this can open up so many doors.
But undoubtedly, the greatest sensation to come out of the X Factor in third place comes in the form of these five fellas. It's One Direction.
One Direction.
I think it's only natural that you'd want to win. We were really disappointed that we didn't, but obviously now we wouldn't change anything.
And when the Fab Five touched down in Sydney at the beginning of a national promo tour earlier this year, the entire country caught 1D fever.
British boy band One Direction has arrived to the frenzied screams of Sydney fans.
It was my only dread of even see them and you just want to cry all the time. It just makes you feel happy.
I didn't know what was going on. It was just girls lined up everywhere.
The reception from our fans was just incredible. We had people following us around literally everywhere and news crews in helicopters. It was pretty insane.
I think you'd be living under a rock if you didn't know who One Direction were.
Groups of screaming teenage girls have invaded central Sydney.
They told me they'll be here all night watching and waiting for One Direction to be interviewed on Sunrise.
Not even the April cold could stop the hordes of teens from camping out overnight. Everyone desperate to catch the first glimpse of their idols.
Is this going to be bigger than Bieber Fever?
We got an inkling of the One Direction frenzy 3 days before they appeared because fans started to camp outside our window.
We saw the size of the crowd building at that point. We were left in no doubt that these guys were massive.
Something just happened with One Direction and they just won people over.
How much you love your mum for bringing you here this morning?
Lots and lots and crazy lots.
More than One Direction, though?
No.
The One Direction day was massive. The plaza was packed. The traffic had to stop. My partner here, we couldn't hear each other for 3 days afterwards. Oh my gosh, the screams outside say it all this morning. The biggest boy band in the world is here with us at Sunrise.
We did Sunrise. From that point on, it kind of just seemed to get crazier and crazier.
It was just insane. It was one of the most craziest places that we've been to.
We've got a few of your mates. They just turned up to say hello, so you want to come up to the glass?
If you ever get the chance to just stand in front of a sea of people, it's just amazing. I've got a picture of it on my phone.
What's the craziest fan experience that you've ever had?
I'd put this up here.
Yeah, it is actually crazy outside. Like, you can't believe how many people start there.
The boys certainly made the most of their time down under.
Enjoying Sydney?
Yeah, it's lovely.
And with tickets to their concert selling out in a record 3 minutes, it was the truly die-hard who were treated to some spectacular performances.
Played a few shows and the Australian fans were amazing. You know, the girls are crazy. They're so loud.
Me and the boys were talking about the other day, we literally cannot wait to come back to Australia. It's just amazing.
So, One Directioners, don't despair. The fellas will be back in 2013 with their World Arena Tour. Get set for 1D Fever all over again. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. I sit down with the 1D boys in London. Now, guys, I have heard some rumours about you guys, so stay watching. Welcome to London. If one act sums up the true power of the X Factor, it has to be One Direction. They are just massive. Here in the UK, their 2013 arena tour sold out, selling 300,000 tickets in just one day. In Australia, their tour sold out in just 3 minutes. And here in London, I caught up with the 1D boys backstage. This is it. We are having a chat with One Direction. Now, guys, I have heard some rumours about you guys, that you're all still really down to earth. How do you guys stay normal?
I think it's just the way our band sort of is, that we just like to have fun, and we have from the start tried to be anything but ourselves. I mean, that's the...
And also, the minute anyone gets a little bit deeper, then straight away they all just get killed off by the rest of us.
You are the biggest band in the world, so there's got to be some point of you that goes to bed on your own, sometimes on your own, that goes to bed and says, we're massive. Does that not change your thinking?
It doesn't. I don't think it ever really sinks in. I don't think you ever like go to bed and think we're massive.
You don't accept that, man.
I think like it goes everywhere from us being around each other to the team that we work with to, you know, going home and your family. You know, it's all kind of
team effort.
Right.
Guys, I might really take the ball that way just a tad. Oh, boys, can I stand in the back? I haven't got a shot at the back. Sorry.
Alright guys, we are set and we are ready to go.
You guys were created because of the UK X Factor. When you first auditioned, did you have any vision that it would get to the live stage, you know, shows, and then to this big?
We didn't even have any vision past the first audition. Any of us did we?
No, we didn't. Especially as a group, we didn't even know what a harmony was, so we just kind of gave it a go and went along with it.
Second album's coming out. Very exciting news, guys.
Yeah, we're very excited. We got cracking on it not too long ago. We're kind of halfway through, I suppose. Just getting songs in at the moment and doing some writing sessions with some friends of ours.
I just think with this album, we just want to try and outdo ourselves a little bit. And obviously, you know, we've got to kind of grow with our fans and grow with the music.
The first album did go pretty good.
It went okay. It went okay.
When he opens his arms and holds you close tonight, it just won't feel right. 'Cause I can love you more than this. Yeah.
Australia was really...
Yeah, one of the craziest
One of the
places.
craziest places.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. We can't wait to go back.
Oh, so that excites you, though, to go back to the crazy places?
We learned surf there, so it's
Yeah, we did, yeah.
UK boy band One Direction turned Beach Boys today, heading in the direction of Manly for a surf and safari. And there was a wipeout or two. Liam managed to briefly master the Malibu. Not bad for a first-timer.
Yeah, just about. And we're going back there next September.
And we have some days off there next year.
Yeah,
loads of
We're off
surf.
there. We're off for my birthday down there.
Well, I'll come surfing with you guys.
That sounds good.
So, who are some of the craziest people you've met?
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Will Smith was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama.
Yeah, that's a sick one, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That's such a lovely family as well.
Yeah, such nice people.
So, we've actually put some questions out on Twitter. We've had thousands of responses, so we have a special hat here that we're going to dip in and have a couple of questions. I promise you I've read one of them, and that was okay. So, I love how I have to say the names. Brizinga from Twitter said, if you could relive one day of your life, what day would it be and why?
I would actually redo our judges' houses.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Just thinking back to it now, there's a lot of pressure on it at this stage of the competition. You really, really want to get through, but at the same time, such a great opportunity, and you just need to sit back and think and enjoy.
Nothing's fine, I'm torn. I'm more like
Next one is, if you knew today was going to be your last day on Earth, how would you spend it and why?
I go for a pint of Ronan Keating.
You go for a beer with Ronan Keating.
Sorry, Mum, I'm in the pub. I know it's the last day on Earth, but
I'd love to go up in a hot air balloon.
I always say
I want to see my family, my
I want to
friends.
swim with dolphins.
Yeah, I'd go.
Girlfriend.
we want to do something high adrenaline, so we would skydive into
surf.
our families' houses.
Where everyone close to
Yeah.
would be
Yes.
chilling.
Guys, thank you so much for having a chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being on the X Factor.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's great.
And we can't wait to come down your way. It's fun.
Yeah.
They're coming back to Australia, guys.
Australia.
One Direction. And just like the fellas of One Direction, Leona Lewis and our own Reese Maston, this year's talent are certainly on their way to superstardom. So, just who will be next? Keep watching the X Factor as we get set to crown our next music superstar.